My name is Andreas. Last year we started our family business here in Korea, Tumbroi, a family brewery. I'm the CEO and I brew the beer, and sometimes I also make food. It's basically the same company, but we just opened a second branch here in Korea. But both are connected. So a few years ago I was here in Korea for an exchange semester, and I tried all kinds of craft beers here. I was actually surprised that there were this many craft beers here in Korea already, but most of them were American or English styles, and I couldn't really find any German styles which were brewed locally, only imported ones, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to open my own brewery here in Korea. So the uncertainty was quite a challenge while opening and also after opening, but we never really knew if and how the government regulations would change, and also for importing our equipment we just didn't know if it could be produced in time, and then if shipping would go well or if we would have other delays. So that was quite a challenge. We made it. It used to be a bit weird at the beginning, but I think I got used to it by now. And the good thing is it forces me to think twice before I do something stupid. I think I'm more careful when I work in a brewery and I know that somebody is watching me. So the process is basically the same as what we used in Germany, but of course we cannot get exactly the same ingredients here. So I had to adjust the recipe a little bit because of the different malts and hops and yeast which we can get here. But other than that, I really try to keep it as close to what I used to do back in Germany, here in Korea as well. At the moment we have 7 beers on tap. I think the one I really enjoy the most is rye beer. Even though it is more difficult to brew, I think it's worth it because it really has a different flavors only because of the different malt we used in it. So, rye really gives a different flavor from other grains like mil or bori. In general, I really like Helles, wheat beer, South German wheat beer, and rye beer. But I also like other styles like Czech Pilsner or brown ale. What is most important to me is giving the beer enough time. Fermentation needs time, and lagering needs time, and I just don't like to take shortcuts there because I think it's important for the flavor formation, and I just like to wait until the flavor has reached a point where I think it is good enough to, where it's at a point that we can serve it to our customers. So I really try to give the beer enough time to develop and mature. Actually, very soon we have a new specialty beer coming up. So in December we will release Doppelbock, which is a perfect winter beer. It's quite strong and malty, good for the cold season. And by the time we will release it, it has been maturating for nearly 4 months. So yeah, I hope you will like it. About collaborations, we don't have anything planned yet, but it might happen. So we're working on it, but we really have to make sure that the quality is perfect. So for now we only do takeout cans, but I'm thinking hard how to solve that problem and how to make cans available all over Korea and Seoul and other places. So yeah, just know that I'm really working on it, and I hope I will find a good solution soon. Well, I'm happy that you're interested in German beers and our brewery here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you will come and visit us here in our brewery and tap room and try our beers, and maybe we can have a beer together. Thank you. So this is our current lineup here. We have Helles, Weiss, Roggen. So this is South German pale lager, maybe the most popular beer in the south of Germany at least. Then Weisse, which is Milchmekju, wheat beer. Roggen, Milchmekju. And then here we have Dunkel. It's basically the darker version of Helles, so it's a little more malty, and obviously the color is also different. And then Hopy Lager. It's nearly the same recipe as this one, but we dry hopped it. Amber Ale, which is also a little bit dry hopped, and porter. So, well, I'll start with Helles. It's a lager beer, bottom fermented beer. It's a little similar to Pilsner, but less hoppy, less bitter, and I think the a little malty feeling is more of its character compared to Czech. So it's not very hoppy. It's a little bit malty, but it's just an easy to drink beer for any occasion. Then we have the wheat beer, Weisse, which is a South German wheat beer. We make it with more than 50% wheat malt, and we also have our own special wheat beer yeast to bring out the flavor, which is a little fruity or banana flavor, and also has a nice mouthfeel. Rye beer is a bit special. It's not very common. Even in Germany, it's very hard to find. It's quite difficult to brew because it's difficult to separate the grain from the wort when we order the beer. But I think the rye beer just brings in a very nice little spicy flavor to the beer, and also has silky mouthfeel. So even though it's harder to brew, I think it's worth it. Then Dunkel, as I said, it's a bit sister or brother of Helles. Also lager beer, but we use darker malts for it. So it has a darker color, and also it has a more malty flavor. Then Hopy Lager, it's a very crisp beer, very clean taste, and it has a nice hoppy flavor which comes from dry hopping it. In this case with some American hops actually. So we use the same hops, the same German hops for on the hot side for boiling, and then after or towards the end of fermentation we added some nice American flavor hops. And same with the Amber Ale. It has a little more malty body, and we also dry hopped it with some American hops. And then lastly the porter. It's It's a little sweetness, I would say, malty sweetness, and a tiny bit of roast flavor, but not too much. I don't like beers which are too roasty. So I think it's still it's well balanced and still a beer that